Welcome. I've got a tree here. It's an English oak. It's at least 40 years old, and I know that because it's producing acorns, and Google says oak trees don't produce acorns until they're at least 40. So it's my dad's tree, but it needs some work doing on it, so let's take a closer look. This particular tree is absolutely loaded with acorns. It's got some really nice character, but I need to get these acorns off because they're going to drain a lot of energy if I leave them on. One of the things you get with age is this lovely craggy old bark. It looks wonderful with a bit of sun on it. Look at that texture, it's gorgeous. This tree isn't perfect, it's got its flaws, but you know, it's calloused over nicely round there, and to me an old tree like this, it needs some sort of old war wounds to give it character. Before I start removing the acorns, I'm going to prune these branches down, and the main aim of it, apart from to get some better shape into the tree, is to develop ramification. So where currently there's one branch, I want in the future to develop that into 2 branches. You can see on this branch here the new growth. So all this that's green has grown this year, and on the inside of each of these leaves there's a bud which can turn into a new branch. So I've got three leaves there. I'll cut above the 3rd one. This is the apex of the tree up here, so I don't need to develop any more thickness in this area, so again I'll just cut this back like that. And this is the way really that I go around this whole tree, just trying to take each of these branches back. Taking off quite a lot of this new growth to try and develop that structure, just to fill the tree out going forward. We did some work on it there's a dead branch in here. We did some work on this tree in the autumn in terms of wiring it and pruning some of the major branches to try and get some structure into it. As I say, my dad's had this tree for many years, and he's pruned it and kept it in shape to a certain extent, and he's done a brilliant job. It's just that now's the time to start thinking about adding extra ramification to it, just to make it look a bit more bonsai like. And I think I'm going to have to come back to this in the autumn when all the leaves have dropped and make some decisions in terms of the overall structure. But at the moment you can't make those kinds of decisions because you can't really see what's going on. I just need to get these long extensions. I mean, look at the length of that. I've got to get that under control. It might ultimately end up going back further. I might cut this branch back to somewhere like here eventually, but for the moment I'm just focusing on this new growth and trying to create, you know, the ramification that will make it look like a more mature tree, because that's what I really like in bonsai. When you get that overall shape of the fine twigs, that's what we're going for. And again, like a lot of bonsai jobs, I love doing this sort of stuff. It's really satisfying, and it's lucky for me to be able to work on a mature tree like this. It's a real treat for me, because as you've seen in my videos, most of my material is either fairly freshly collected or it's kind of nursery stock, So to be able to practice on something like this and hopefully take it forward over the next 3 or 4 years, that's the aim. And it'll be mine one day. A lot of those acorns have come off in the process of the pruning that I've just done, which is what I want. But the acorns that are still left, I'm going to go in now and actually remove all of those. I might just leave a couple on to see how large they grow, just for fun. I've moved in close so you can see these acorns growing on this stalk. And I'm just going to cut this stalk back like that, take those away. These are up at the top of the tree and there's multiple stalks coming from one point. So I'll just take all of them off. There's quite a few of these acorns on these stalks. And it's just, it's like one of those observation games where you're just trying to spot them. There's loads, they're all over. It's really putting out put out loads of fruit this year. Do you call them fruit? Acorn, can it be called fruit? I don't know. But I was also reading, as well as an oak tree doesn't put acorn out until it's 40 years old. It said it's most productive between the ages of 80 and 100. So that's when an oak tree is really kind of at its most fertile and productive. I had a comment off one of my subscribers. He'll have to forgive me, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he's going to send me some American oak seeds, which I'm looking forward to germinating and growing some American oaks over here in the UK. And I'm going to send him some of our English oaks as well. It'd be interesting just to see how they do and how they differ. I've got a couple of turkey oaks. Well, actually I collected a couple of turkey oaks, but only one of them made it. It was a bit late in the year really. So I've got one turkey oak and they really grow like weeds. They're really much more vigorous even than the English oak. And I find the English oak to be an extremely kind of tough, vigorous, hardy plant. Now, so you always think you've got them all, and then you always find at least one more. So I'm looking at that now thinking, I've got everything, I've got them all, but I know there will be at least one more that I've missed. But I'm just going to look for the last one. I know there's one evading me. 100% guaranteed. But can I find it? And is this getting boring for you as a viewer? It must be. You're thinking, come on Tony, give up. You've got them all. But I know there's one in there. But I can't find it, so I am giving up. Anyway, I'm really happy with how that has gone. I think it's looking good. You might notice there's a slight bias towards this side, and I think that needs to be addressed. So I'll be looking at that again in the winter. If you'd like to follow the progress of this tree, hit subscribe. And as always, thanks for joining me and have a great day.